When we do these, we go in this order. So if you practice these, it's got to go in this order, and we just stop when we get there. If you really were a sucker for punishment, you can memorize this order. But me, I kind of like having this in my head because you're going to spout some of these off. So when I get down here and I got to go to lead, I might figure out where I'm going to stop. That's going to be 6P2, right? And so I'm going to have to go, all that. So everything before this is all still going to be the same. I'm going to read all that off, and then when I get to 6P's, it's only going to be 2. And you'll notice if I add up these electrons on the top, when I do lead, I better end up with 82 when they all add up. That doesn't mean I did them all in the right order and the right number in each one, but if they don't add up, I know it's wrong. Multiple choice, that helps. It also helps. Can you imagine how powerful that would be if you were on a history test and you're writing down the answer and you're stuck going, I don't know if that's right. The teacher came by and said, that's wrong. All right? You may, oh man, okay. And rethink this one. So counting these, when I do phosphorus, how many will I end up with? 15. 15 protons, 15 electrons. Now that's if it's neutral. If it has a charge, for instance, let's say I'm going to do oxygen without this pen. Still need to do biology. Oxygen with a -1 charge. How many electrons would it have? Went the wrong way. Look on a mistake. 9. So your original answer was 7, and I said, real common mistake. Your right answer is 9. It starts with 8 protons, right? We got, that means if it was neutral, it would be 8 electrons. And everybody likes to do 7. That'll be on there for sure as an option. But keep in mind, we negative electron 7, negative charge. Boy, that's useful. You don't learn anything else about chapter 2, you better know that. All right. So we add an electron when it's a negative. Good. And so what this means is I could do oxygen, and I could write down 1s2, 2s2, 2p. What you guys told me before? And then I have to add 1, and I just have to know the last one I put in will be the first one that comes out. And I better make sure I got extra space. So this holds 6, so I could add 1 to get to 5 there. All right? And so that would get me 2p5. Or I can do it an easier way. Oxygen with a negative, here's oxygen. When it's a negative, we got to add an electron. Which way am I moving? Moving to the right, right? Moving forward. That sounds counterintuitive. Make sure you remember electrons have negative charges. Good. So we're going to go to fluorine. And I'll just do fluorine like I normally would. Fluorine is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5 to get over to there. These are the same. They're the same electron configurations. Oxygen with a negative charge and fluorine. Guess what? Nitrogen with a -2 would be the same. It doesn't really happen, but if I had neon that had a +1 charge, it'd be the same as fluorine. This relationship is called isoelectronic. 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 Iso means same. Isoelectronic, same electronic configuration. And it lets us handle these atoms that have a charge. Have we talked about those yet? What those are called? Okay, good. Those are called ions. So atoms with a charge. Okay, last little bit on this electron configuration. We write this long handout. But remember when I said I'm going to do lead? And I said most of this was the same as it was before. And you'll notice when I got out here, it always ended in this P6 when I got to the end. All right. This last column is called the noble gases. The noble gas shorthand. So we're going to use a shorthand called the noble gas shorthand. So it only works with those noble gases. Which is at group 18. And we can put them in brackets. And we'll start up after those. So if I want to do magnesium, I could do 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. And if I drew this, I'd have the 1 has 2, the second layer has 8, those p's in the 6, and the outside layer has 2. And we will see it's the outside layer that determines the chemistry. Then when these atoms interact, it's the outside. That's what interacts when they bang into each other. Okay? So another thing bangs into it's going to interact with the outside. So I care about this outside. All of this is already full. Because what's more useful? You drive up, okay, did you see a spot? I said, yeah, I saw an empty spot. First row's full, second row's full, third row's full, fourth row's full, sixth row's got an empty spot. So why don't you just say, go to the sixth row? All right, so these are already full. So we're going to symbolize these with the one that is 2p6, which is neon. We'll use the last noble gas we passed. The last noble gas we passed. You can only use noble gases. When I do magnesium, people come in and they pick sodium and they put it in a box and then you say 3s1. And so the last noble gas we passed. Uh-oh, magnesium better add up to be 12. Well, how many is neon? How many is neon? 10. Plus 2 is 12. When I was doing it this way, I had 2 plus 2 plus 6, that's 10. Plus another 2 was 12. This just makes our life a little bit easier. So when I come across though, and I want to do lead, it's Pb. The last noble gas I passed on the way to lead, that's down there at 82. What's the last noble gas we passed? Did I pass this one yet? We passed this one? Xe? What is that? Warrior Princess, that's xenon. You guys are too young, you don't remember xenon. All right, so xenon, then I'm going to do the row that we're on. 6s2, 4f14, 5d10, 6p2. Not super long, but really all I had to do was do this row that it's on. Multiple choice, I'll have either the long one or the noble gas shorthand. You gotta do A, do both. Some questions I want one, some I want the other.
Will you want today's lecture uploaded tonight?
I hope so. It says recording. You want tonight? I guess. I'll try. Didn't you see? I had 100 and something Blackboard things to grade, apparently. Afraid to log in now. some of those, that's what I hate about that little notification center. It's not really helpful because I'm in like, I've got my shells, I've got the classes that I gave over to somebody else. I'm in some people's shells so they can share tests with me and I can go, okay, yeah, that's how you did it. Cool. Here's how I do it. And we go back and forth. So I've done, they put an assignment out for their students and it's time to grade it. I log in. Oh, those aren't mine. Don't grade them. All right. And then you sit there and you hit clear. It says, all right, here you got none. And you look and it still says like 24. Where are they? This stuff's not that hard. I like this shorthand.
You have 6P2
Whoa!
right here on the board. Okay.
We're gonna let
Okay, gotcha.
6S2 to go here, 4F14, 5B10, 6B2. Is that what I wrote?
Yes.
Let's check it. Xenon is 54, 56, 70, 82. Should add up about right. Lead is 80. I'll take it right. I'm gonna write it more.